Welcome to Talking About Kids. I am your host, R. Bradley Snyder, researcher, activist, and author of The 5 Simple Truths of Raising Kids. It has been just over 2 weeks since Baby New Year 2025 arrived. So, for this final mini holiday break episode of the 2024-2025 season of Talking About Kids, I am going to discuss births and deaths, and the fetal mortality rates and maternal mortality ratios in particular. Talking About Kids is sponsored in part by the Arizona Department of Health Services Must Stop Bullying campaign through its Title V Maternal and Child Health Program. For more information, go to muststopbullying.org. Healthy mothers and healthy babies are important. If you find this mini episode valuable, please share it with your friends and colleagues. The fetal mortality rate is computed as the number of fetal deaths at 20 weeks of gestation or more per 1,000 live births. The CDC recently released 2023 numbers for the United States, and I guess the good news is that there was not a statistically significant change in the fetal mortality rate compared to 2022, and even a slight decrease from 2021. In 2021, there were 5.73 fetal deaths per every 1,000 live births in the United States. In 2023, that number had dropped to 5.52 fetal deaths for every 1,000 live births. But before we celebrate, it's important to note that the fetal mortality rate in the United States is still much, much worse than in other countries. Out of 198 countries in the world, the United States is ranked 53rd in terms of its fetal mortality rate. In other words, there are 52 other countries on the planet in which it is safer to be pregnant and give birth. Based solely on this measure, it is better to be pregnant and give birth in Qatar, in Serbia, or in Andorra. That being said, not all states within the United States are equal. Compared to Mississippi, for example, which has a fetal mortality rate nearly twice that of the rest of the country, one would be better off in Tonga, Kosovo, Libya, or one of the 76 countries with better fetal mortality rates. Of course, fetal deaths is just one measure. Maybe birthing mothers fare better. The maternal mortality ratio is the number of women who die from pregnancy-related causes while pregnant or within 42 days of pregnancy termination per 100,000 live births. Out of 198 countries in the world, the United States is ranked 66th in terms of the maternal mortality ratio. Mothers in Lebanon, Uruguay, and Malaysia are slightly more likely to survive their pregnancy than are mothers in the United States. However, if you are considering being pregnant and are worried about surviving the pregnancy, you might want to go to Kuwait, Estonia, Croatia, or any one of the 33 countries whose maternal mortality ratio is less than a third of the United States'. I have to be honest, I'm not sure what to do with this information. However, I believe that the level of care we provide during pregnancy and childbirth is indicative of how we as a country actually value families. You will find links to the data I cite at talkingaboutkids.com. Full-length Talking About Kids episodes return next week. The Talking About Kids theme song is by the Senators. For more of their music, go to thesenatorsmusic.com. And remember, kids are young goats and young humans, and the difference is that young goats are easier to manage.